If I'm known for anything, which I'm really not, it would be for reviewing and or discussing relatively obscure video games. One that springs to mind is Rush's Chasm: The Rift, an FPS Quake clone released way back in 1997. As I recall, it suffered from some pretty dreary reviews, but having booted the game up for another run, all I can say is my opinion stands. I liked it then, and despite its age, I kinda like it now. As per my usual, I have to say, fuck the reviews. Chasm was a lot like Quake, with at least a small attempt at an actual storyline. The two were similar in that the plots involved portals and other worlds opening up, and therefore requiring you to shoot things that wanted you dead. Well, that and they both used archaic polygonal graphics and a color scheme comprised of more shades of brown than you knew actually existed. In any case, it's your job as the nameless protag to seal the rift up once and for all, and make the world safe for primary colors once again. When I say the game has more story than the first Quake, trust me, I mean it has very little. But even that is more story than Quake. Personally, I thought Chasm was far more satisfying than Quake 2. I didn't like that game's setting, and I definitely didn't like its hub-based world that made the first game's fast and furious action feel like a thing of the series past, in the wake of so much backtracking and whatnot. Chasm was, for my money, the Quake 2 I never had. A linear, first-person, brown-tinted, level-by-level killing spree that required lots and lots of keycards to access other areas. Chasm was one of the first polygonal games that let you blow off your enemy's limbs when targeted, but at the time it was badass enough to be considered an actual feature. It also helped that the game's roster of villains, including the buzzsaw-wielding jackal jester that graced the box art, were a memorable lot. Some of the game's zombies were pure Quake, granted, but from the gas mask-wearing grunts that may well have inspired the Helgen stormtroopers of Killzone on down to the game's mutant Vikings and Geiger-esque aliens, it was a group of baddies you loved to hate and shoot in the face. The game didn't exactly make you its bitch, but like John Romero's Daikatana, each area in the game was inspired by a different culture and time period. Also, the game's first mission, set more or less in modern day with some sci-fi trappings, offered up some rain effects that at the time were quite impressive and made for a memorable intro into the game's world. The bottom line, almost a decade and a half later, I'm sad to say, is that a lot of gamers have forgotten Chasm, but I haven't. If you're an old school shooter fan and you somehow missed this, do yourself a favor and give it a try.